The scene is so familiar it almost hurts to picture it. It's late at night, the house is quiet, you're finally settling into bed, that warm, heavy feeling of a long day catching up with you. And then you hear it, that sound. You know the one, that deep, rhythmic, unmistakable hack, hack. Your dog is standing in the middle of the hallway, head lowered, neck stretched out long and low, sides heaving like a little bellows. And your heart just drops. You throw the covers off. Your bare feet hit the cold floor. You're already moving toward that sound in the dark, whispering, "It's okay, buddy, it's okay." But is it okay? Because this isn't the first time this week, and the panic is real. You're watching your best friend struggle, that awful gagging, retching effort, and there is nothing worse than feeling helpless, while the one who loves you most is in distress. And in the back of your mind, a quiet dread is building. Is it something they ate? Is it their stomach? Do we need an emergency vet visit at midnight? Another $300 bill? Another sleepless night? My friends, I need you to take a breath, because what you are almost certainly hearing, that terrible sound in the dark, has a cause most pet parents never even think about in dogs. And there's a simple, gentle kitchen cabinet fix that could stop it this week. I know that frustration. I see it in my exam room every single week. Loving, exhausted pet parents who have tried everything and feel like they're failing. And I want to be honest with you about who I think the enemy really is here. It's not you. It is a pet industry that would happily sell you a $12 tube of some slick, petroleum-based hairball remedy. Yes, petroleum. The same stuff they make motor oil from, flavored with artificial junk your dog doesn't need. It's a system that would rather you keep coming back with your wallet open than tell you the quiet truth. And the quiet truth is that your grandmother probably had a better answer sitting in her pantry. But what if I told you that the solution to that horrible midnight hacking, the solution to painful hair buildup that makes your dog gag, lose their appetite, and feel miserable from the inside out, might already be sitting in your kitchen right now? What if I told you it costs less than a single cup of coffee, you only need to give it once a week, and most dogs actually love the taste? If you saw the thumbnail of this video, you saw the promise. One simple weekly treat. That's it. And the secret to stopping that painful hairball and hair buildup for good doesn't live at the emergency vet or in an overpriced tube. It lives right there on your kitchen shelf, in your pantry, maybe even in your refrigerator this very moment. Stick with me, because I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, exactly how much to give, and the safety rules that matter most. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Tony Lee, your neighborhood veterinarian, and welcome back to the channel. I'll never forget a little Shih Tzu named Biscuit who came into my clinic a few years back. Sweet as could be, but his mom was beside herself. He'd been gagging for weeks, going off his food, seeming bloated and uncomfortable, and she'd spent a small fortune on tests. And when we finally got to the bottom of it, the answer was so simple, it almost made her cry. Biscuit, with all that gorgeous long fur, was swallowing hair every single time he groomed and licked himself, and it was clumping up and irritating his digestive tract. Once we fixed his routine with one small dietary change, that little dog was a brand new pup within 2 weeks. And here's the statistic that ought to raise the stakes for all of us. Veterinary studies suggest that a significant portion of long-haired and heavy-shedding dogs, some reports put it as high as 1 in 3 during peak shedding seasons, regularly ingest enough of their own hair to cause digestive irritation, discomfort, and in rare but real cases, a dangerous blockage. A blockage, my friends, that can require emergency surgery. That's not a small thing. That's your dog's whole gut on the line. So today, we are doing something special. This is not a quick tip. This is a complete masterclass on stopping painful hair and hairball buildup in your dog. Gently, naturally, and from the inside out. Here's our roadmap. First, I'm going to give you the immediate relief treat, the one weekly food that gets things moving right now. Then we'll move into the outside-in prevention, the grooming secret nobody explains properly. After that, I'll show you the long-term root cause fixes, the water trick, the skin and coat nutrition piece, and the gut health foundation that stops this problem at the source. And near the end, I'll give you my honest reality check, so you don't overdo it and cause a whole new mess. So do me a favor. Grab a pen and a notebook, because I'm going to give you specific amounts and I don't want you guessing. And if this channel has ever helped you and your best friend, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It genuinely helps us protect more pets. All right, let's dive in. Chapter 1. The One Weekly Treat. Plain, pure pumpkin. But what if the very thing your dog needs to move all that swallowed hair safely and comfortably through their system is the same thing you buy for your Thanksgiving pie? Because it is. And I don't mean the sugary, spiced pie filling. I want you to hear me very clearly on this. Plain, canned, 100%. Pumpkin. Let me explain the science in plain words, because once you understand why it works, you'll never forget it. Pumpkin is loaded with soluble fiber. That's the kind of fiber that soaks up water and turns into a soft, gentle gel inside your dog's gut. Think of it like a soft sponge sweeping through a pipe. When your dog swallows loose hair from grooming, that hair can clump together and just sit there, irritating the stomach, making them gag, making them feel too queasy to eat. That soft pumpkin gel gently wraps around that hair and helps carry it smoothly the rest of the way out. The natural way, through the back door, if you know what I mean. No straining, no irritation, no hairball surgery. Now here's the exact how-to, and this is where that notebook comes in. For a small dog under 20 pounds, give about 1 teaspoon of plain canned pumpkin, once or twice a week. For a medium dog, 20 to 50 pounds, 1 tablespoon. For a large dog over 50 pounds, up to 2 tablespoons, you can spoon it right into their regular food or freeze little dollops in an ice cube tray for a cool summer treat. Most dogs, honestly, gobble it right up. Start on the low end and see how your dog does. And here comes my vet warning, so please listen closely. This has to be plain pumpkin. Check that label. Pumpkin pie filling is loaded with sugar and spices, and it can contain nutmeg, which is genuinely toxic to dogs. Never, ever give pie filling, and never overdo the pumpkin, because too much fiber too fast can cause loose stools and gas. And trust me, nobody in your house wants that. But Dr. Tony, I can already hear some of you saying, my dog is picky, he won't touch anything new. I hear you. And that's exactly why we start with just a tiny spoonful mixed into a food they already love. Warm it slightly. 99 times out of 100, that earthy, mild flavor wins them over. Now let's move to Chapter 2, because getting the hair out is only half the battle. What if we could stop so much of it from ever going in? Chapter 2, the outside-in fix, the grooming secret. Here's a question most pet parents never stop to ask. Where does all that swallowed hair actually come from? It comes from your dog licking and grooming themselves. Completely normal behavior. But every dead loose hair that's still clinging to their coat is a hair they can swallow. So the single most powerful thing you can do to reduce hair buildup on the inside is to remove that loose hair on the outside before your dog does. The mechanism here is beautifully simple. Less loose hair on the coat equals less hair in the mouth equals less hair in the gut. That's the whole chain. And you don't need a fancy groomer for this. So here's your exact routine. For a short-haired dog, a rubber curry brush 2 to 3 times a week. For a long-haired or double-coated dog, your Shih Tzus, your Goldens, your Huskies, a slicker brush or an undercoat rake, a few minutes daily during shedding season, and at least 3 times a week the rest of the year. Brush in the direction the fur grows, be gentle around the belly and legs, and turn it into a little bonding massage. Wipe them down afterward with a slightly damp cloth to catch the last floating hairs. Now, my vet warning here. Do not overbathe your dog thinking it'll help. Too many baths strip the natural oils from their skin, which actually causes more dry, flaky shedding, not less. For most dogs, once every 4 to 6 weeks is plenty. And if you ever see bald patches, red irritated skin, or sudden heavy shedding, that's not a grooming problem. That's a call your vet problem, because it can signal allergies, parasites, or a thyroid issue. This brings me to Chapter 3, and this one surprises everybody. Because sometimes the reason all that hair gets stuck isn't the hair at all. It's something much more basic. Chapter 3. The water trick. Hydration from the inside out. But what if your dog's system is simply too dry to move that swallowed hair along? Here's the plain science. Remember that soft pumpkin gel we talked about? Fiber can only do its job if there's enough water in the system for it to absorb. A dehydrated dog has a slow, sluggish, dried-out gut, and in a dried-out gut, swallowed hair clumps, hardens, and sticks, instead of sliding right through. Many dogs, especially the ones eating dry kibble, are running a little low on water, and their owners have no idea. So let's fix it. Here's your exact how-to. Always keep fresh, clean water available, and change it daily. And here's my favorite trick. Add water to their food. Pour a quarter to a half cup of warm water over dry kibble and let it soak for 10 minutes before serving. It bumps up their hydration and makes the meal more appealing all at once. For dogs who just won't drink enough, a pet water fountain works wonders, because the moving water draws them in. You can also add a spoonful of plain, unsalted bone broth to their water bowl as a tasty incentive. My vet warning for this chapter. If your dog is drinking far more water than usual, or suddenly stops drinking altogether, please don't shrug that off. Big changes in thirst can be an early sign of kidney or other internal issues, and that deserves a vet's attention, not a home remedy. We're covering a lot. Grab a sip of water yourself, because this next part is vital. It's about feeding the coat itself. Chapter 4. Feeding the coat, the healthy skin nutrition fix. Here's the truth that ties everything together. A dog that sheds like a snowstorm usually has one root cause: a dry, unhealthy coat. And a dry coat means more dead hair falling loose, more hair swallowed, more buildup. So what if we could strengthen that coat from the inside so your dog simply sheds far less to begin with? The plain science is all about healthy fats, specifically omega-3 fatty acids. Think of these as the natural oils that keep skin supple and hair follicles strong, so hair stays anchored instead of shedding out early. A dog rich in these good fats has a shinier coat, less dandruff, and, you guessed it, less loose hair to swallow. Here's your exact how-to. The gentlest, most natural source is fish oil made for dogs, or a small serving of cooked, plain, deboned fish like sardines or salmon. As a general guide, many vets suggest around 20 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA, those are the two key omega-3 fats, per pound of body weight daily, but always start low and follow the dosing on a dog-specific product. A few times a week, you can offer a small piece of cooked salmon as a treat. Some pet parents also swear by a tiny drizzle of plain fish oil right on the food. Now my vet warning, and it's an important one. Never feed raw salmon or raw trout. Raw Pacific fish can carry a parasite that causes something called salmon poisoning disease, which is genuinely deadly to dogs. Always cook it thoroughly, always remove every bone, and go easy. Too much fat too fast can upset the stomach, or, in sensitive dogs, inflame the pancreas. But Dr. Tony, a pet parent, asked me just last month, "My dog hates fish. Now what?" No problem at all. A little flaxseed oil or a spoonful of plain cooked egg can help too. There's always a gentle option. And that carries us into our final foundation, Chapter 5, the deepest root of all. Chapter 5, the gut health foundation. But what if, after everything, your dog's insides just aren't processing things smoothly? Here's the last piece of the puzzle. Your dog's gut is home to trillions of tiny, friendly bacteria. We call this the microbiome, which is just a fancy word for the whole community of good bugs living in their belly. When that community is healthy and balanced, digestion is smooth and steady, and swallowed hair keeps moving right along. When it's out of balance, everything slows down and gets sticky. So here's the exact how-to. A little plain, unsweetened yogurt with live active cultures, those cultures are the good bacteria, can help. For a small dog, half a teaspoon, a medium dog, 1 teaspoon, a large dog up to a tablespoon, a few times a week. Or you can use a dog-specific probiotic supplement, which is my preference for consistency. Pair that with the fiber from your weekly pumpkin, and you've built a gut that practically takes care of itself. My vet warning here, many dogs are lactose intolerant, so introduce yogurt slowly and watch for gas or loose stools. And absolutely never use any yogurt or product sweetened with xylitol, sometimes labeled birch sugar, because xylitol is extremely toxic to dogs, even in tiny amounts. Read every label, every single time. All right, my friends, take a breath. We've covered so much, and I'm proud of you for staying with me, because this next part protects you from a very common mistake. This is my reality check, and I need you to hear it. We just talked about 5 wonderful, gentle remedies: the weekly plain pumpkin, the regular brushing routine, the hydration and water trick, the omega-3 fats for a healthy coat, and the gut-friendly probiotics or yogurt. Every one of them works. But please, please do not go dumping all 5 into one giant bowl tomorrow morning like some kind of mad scientist. Because if you hit your poor dog's system with a mountain of pumpkin, a pile of fish, and a scoop of yogurt all at once, I promise you the only thing you'll accomplish is turning your living room carpet into a gas and diarrhea disaster zone at 2 in the morning. Nobody wants that. Your dog least of all. So here's my simple, achievable formula. Think of it as gentle rotation. Make daily to few times a week brushing your steady base, because that one has no downside. Add the plain pumpkin just once or twice a week. Keep the water trick going every day since hydration is always safe. Rotate the omega-3 fish a couple of times a week, and sprinkle in the probiotic or yogurt a few times a week on its own. Introduce these one at a time, several days apart, so you can actually see what helps your individual dog. Slow and steady. That's the whole game. Now let me zoom out for a second because I think you need to hear this. The simple fact that you are still here, watching a full video about your dog's health, taking notes on hairball buildup of all things, that tells me everything I need to know about you. You are not failing your dog. You are the kind of pet parent who notices the small sounds in the dark and refuses to ignore them. You are the kind who does the research instead of just throwing money at the problem. That midnight hack that scared you?